Perfect.
Oh my god. Alright, I go live in 5 minutes.
All right, well,
Do you have the results? Yeah.
I do indeed.
Hey. Yeah, man. What did I say I was going to do the 5 on?
I don't know, Eric.
Which you always do.
All right. Hmm. Top 5 lifelike dice moments. one of those is gonna have you guys get involved. You're gonna have to tell them about the 7K Houdini.
The 7K Houdini?
You never heard of that, Ugly Mike?
Oh yeah, of course I mean, no,
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 I have
Mike.
I have never heard about that.
You never heard about the seven? Oh, he like lost 7K playing, but it's poker though.
Yo, but it wasn't like, all right, man,
Okay, he didn't have the 7K. He was up 7K and then he lost it. Does that make
lost
sense?
it all. Vanish like the goddamn rogue spell. 7K Houdini, baby. Life like dice.
Nope, never heard of that.
Joe S said that's what they call him.
Call him what?
The 7K Houdini, man.
It'd be impossible for me not to know. I wish I could have Ugly Mike on the show.
He's not even in the scene, but he's a good podcaster guy. He would be if he's still the same. I haven't spoken to that guy in so long. I don't even know if he's like the same though. He could be different.
Does he exist?
He does. He plays Yu-Gi-Oh still or some card game. So we might be seeing him soon if Eric gets his way and he gets all the card cuts to come into TGS.
A Dex? Gotta have basic training, I guess.
Yeah, Dexter man,
Good for him.
good for good old Dex. I repost in the group. We about to go live in a couple minutes.
Right. Good evening, everybody. This is episode 24 of Intruder Alert Live. Tonight we got K1 Kevin and a familiar face, but also a familiar habit of being fashionably late. So we got pushed back to our old time, 11 o'clock. Thanks, Fuerte. It's always a pleasure to have you back on the show.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to be back.
So tonight's topics are the past tournaments this past weekend, which were Milan and SCR. The strong possibility of SF5 going to arcade, but that doesn't really concern us. Also, we'll be talking about why it's so hard to be consistent this game. And also a preview of Season 3 of Ultimate Street Fighter week. And a Forte 5, if we get that far. Hopefully we'll get cut off by then.
Nice.
So right before we get into the results, a moment of silence for for Kevin's push to talk.
Yo, what happened?
Is your push to talk set up?
No, why?
Oh, because your phone was going off.
Oh, my fault.
But yeah, let's
Oh,
have a
we're
moment
good.
of silence for Mike Ross at Twitch and Capcom Pro Talk.
What happened?
Apparently Mike left Twitch. So
That's dumb.
no. See.
Oh, Jesus, we're live. I didn't. That's why my phone went off. My fault, boys.
Yeah.
I told you I'll be back in 1 second. It's all good. Hey, let's keep going, or stay silent as I was. I was already in the moment of silence for Mike Ross. I want to say that this is a sad day. Definitely, Mike Ross and Capcom Pro Talk was something that I look forward to a lot of Tuesdays. Great show. Kind of got weird though, man. Were you guys a fan of the show with Flo once he was on there? Because I kind of was not really a fan of the chemistry was kind of off. I don't know. Maybe I'm not the biggest Flo supporter.
At first I was a fan, but eventually it became like a huge meme of like fourth place, blah blah blah, why do you jump so much, blah blah blah. Just after a while it got kind of stale.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't even think Bertie watches that show.
Nah, man, who gives a fuck about that?
Exactly.
The show was butt.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure he definitely has something up. Good
Oh
to go.
yeah. Oh yeah, man.
But yeah, all right, let's get into the other stuff, the more important things. Like this past weekend, the tournament stuff.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to start with like Milan Cup or SCR? Let's do Milan first, man.
Yeah.
So Milan Games Week, we've had the finals of Europe take place, and it was really not a very European final uh, in some respects, because you had quite a few non-European representatives in the top eight. But let's run down your top eight. So BST Daigo with that Ryu took took home the first place BX3 Phenom was second. RB Bonchan third. I'm Still the Daddy fourth. Luffy fifth. Zian fifth. PRLS Pax was Karin at seventh, and so was MOV. So right there, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the top half of the top 8, not from Europe. But hey, that's the way it rocks, man. You know.
I'm Still the Daddy got fourth. That sounds like a questionable tournament to me.
Actually, his guile was really solid. I know that in the past,
In
his
the
guile was
past, he was
laughable.
ass.
His guile was laughable in some respects in Street
Like
Fighter
all of
4,
them.
but he really plays really clean now, and kind of similar to what you're seeing with Knuckle Do and Chris G. Is once you have a really strong understanding of Guile's fireball, how it works, his V skill, how it works, it's very difficult to jump on Guile in this game. You know, it's kind of frustrating because he really slows the game down. And this is a game where it's few and far between if you're looking at characters that can slow the pace down. And he's got a reversal. So he has really everything he needs. I mean, Combo Fiend said it when the character dropped, and I don't think a lot of people really understood it, but Guile can slow the game down. So props to him for doing so well. If you watch his match with MOV, super good match, really clean on both sides, and it shows how even Guile can slow down Chun. She just can't, do all that dumb stuff on Wake Up, and of course his fireball is going to beat hers. Good stuff to everyone. Just outside the top 8, you had Mystic Crimson, Problem X, Fruit, Cobalt Cog, CCL. Sako was also in the building. He got ninth. And then TKR, GSTKR. I've never heard of that. Chun-Li player. Interesting. But yeah, this is interesting because some of these names you'll see in those regional finals will continue to keep coming up, right? Because a lot of these top players have so many points in so many regions that if they, for example, Daigo wins this tournament, but I do know for a fact Zian has points in like Asia, so he can still qualify through Asia. Same with Bonchan. So it's not like these guys are shut out of the CPT per se, but we'll definitely be looking at a lot of stacked competition when we do move to the regional finals for a lot of these upcoming tournaments. Because other than that, it's pretty much slow. I mean, we got Canada Cup, and I think that's the last premiere. To be honest, maybe one more ranking event, but not too much on the horizon other than that. Eric, did you watch any of this, or Jason? Did you watch any of this tournament? I'm pretty sure most people watched SCR.
Yeah, it was all about SCR for me.
I watched most of it up until top 4 stuff.
I feel you. I feel you, man. Well, it's good. So that's Milan Cup, man. I'm gonna let them, rock. They did their thing. Everybody, good job. But let's move on to SCR. Everybody was pretty much tuned into that for the whole weekend. It was the big tournament. It was a premiere. Uh, some people thought it was a regional, or excuse me, a ranking, but it was a premiere. And yes, Zhao Hai probably had one of the best weekends, or maybe he's having one of the best months as far as a fighting game player is concerned. Fresh off his win of ESL, he comes in and he pretty much becomes king of SoCal regionals, taking not only Street Fighter as your first place winner there, but also King of Fighters as well. Winning all kinds of money. Who knows? I know there was a lot of Mexicans there, so they probably were a little tight that they walked away with not as much. So Zhao Hai first. Haitani, that was my pick to win this tournament. He got second. And probably the MVP of the tournament was third with his greatest performance yet to date, EGK Brad. Kenneth Bradley. Shout outs to you, sir. Repping for America and all the e-thuggery that we love. He got third place with Cammy. He beat Mago, who finished fourth, and then Knuckle Dude Nuki tied for fifth, and PR Balrog and another upstart. If not for K Brad, he probably would have been the MVP. R Kappa XYZ or XYZ. I don't know how you say his name. I think it's XYZ, but that's your top 8. And then it's just a list of like who's who in Street Fighter if you want to go right after that to finish out the top 16. Momochi, Justin Wong, Gamerby, Dogura, Oliver Queen, Ranmasama Flash, Filipino Man, Chris G, Brennis Cool, Eita Julio, Ricky Ortiz, Alucard. Woo! Savage battle. My boy Commander Jesse didn't do too hot this tournament. He got 33rd. I mean, this is really good, but you're talking about a man who got top 8 at ESL. I wish he would have done a little bit better repping that Dulcim, but good stuff to him. So let's get into this discussion. Eric, anything really stand out from the tournament itself, the gameplay? What'd you think about XYZ, man? Talk to me.
Really good at using Crouch Fierce. Really bad at using YOLO Headbutt.
Not a fan of the YOLO headbutt.
No, he does not like it, or he's just not good at it. Either way, it's balls.
Balls.
Balls. But overall gameplay, really strong.
Yeah, I have to agree. Overall, he kind of knew what to do in a lot of situations. And I've said that I think you and him play similarly, but his situational understanding of like, oh, I'm getting air reset. I need to hit this now because he's going to go for this cross up, or I need to get out of this situation. Let me jump away. He was really good at those. The only thing that he really didn't do well was kind of exposed in his matchup with Nuki, is that he did not know what to do against Chun-Li's instant overhead air legs nonsense in the corner, the shenanigans, the instant air stomp. He was kind of free to that, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah. But other than that, I really liked his performance. I thought that he had some really cool birdie setups. He did. I mean, he hit that counter hit jab into super. That's the stuff, man. That's the stuff when you know you're gonna have a good tournament. You're knocking that type of shit out. I think. Let me see here. Other than that, the top 8 was kind of. I'm not going to say predictable or lackluster, but just surprising in some aspects as far as K Brad's performance. I mean, this man, easily has been knocked out of pools, has done well. Same with Mago. I mean, it kind of speaks into what we were going to talk about in a little bit. I guess we can kind of transition that way and bring it into the same thing. Is the consistency part? Not to jump around, but that's one of the biggest takeaways from this tournament is that it's. I don't know. Maybe we're being too strict in our parameters. I mean, look how many good players are at this tournament. Like, I'm looking at the top 64, and it is super stacked. So if you don't finish top 8, is it really, an inconsistency thing? Or is it that the field is so large that getting out of pools was a chore for this tournament, especially, can be difficult, and then doing well in the top 32 is even more difficult. The game is so new. Infiltration kind of, did he fall off or did people catch up? I think that's a really good question to ask and look at. You know, Goichi got 49th at this tournament, tied for 49th. Does that mean that he's fallen down because he also finished, I think, top 8 at a couple months ago? He was like in every top 8 if he was there, or is it a matter of people catching up? That's one thing that you have to keep in mind is that granted it's been out 8 months, but if we're looking at the totality of the game, just think of Street Fighter 4. How many people were good at Street Fighter 4 in the first couple years that weren't as good or weren't those same names at the end of the game's lifespan? Granted, there was balance updates and all that. I understand, but I think that's a big thing to look at. Is that over time, I think putting in the effort and playing the meta correctly will start to settle things down a bit. But yeah, right now it can definitely look like it's a bit helter skelter, I guess. Do you guys think that maybe is it? I mean, I know we talk about this several times about the game being, you know, too focused on Oki, too focused on wake up, hard to whiff punish things. But personally, for me, I've been trying to play in a way that negates a lot of that. So I don't think that it's something that we necessarily have to look at in the long run as hopefully plaguing the game.
Who
Any
knows, man? Who
the great
knows?
the guy
Honest,
who knows.
when you have like people saying that Momochi is undoubtedly the best one, and he 10th place,
Yeah,
and PR Balrog is like MIA for the past like 3 months. Like, basically since Evo, like I've barely seen him at any tournaments, and he places top 8. He beats Momochi, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
I'm,
came out of the woodwork, man. And his Balrog, when Balrog first came out, his Balrog was butt.
mm,
He really just said, I'm gonna hunker down. I'm gonna do what Punko did, and I'm gonna stop playing badly. But I mean, Balrog was always, in my opinion, PR Balrog was a better Street Fighter player than Punko was. Punko just happened to have the right character for him, which is why he had more success.
I mean, I was talking about Momochi, but sure.
Jason, you're right though. Balrog did beat Momochi in top 16, 2-1.
It's like what Fumi said. Like in this game, anyone can die.
That's true.
Like doesn't matter. Like yeah, infiltration had his run, and now he's just like, well, he won the last tournament at least, but
Yeah,
everyone just has like their spurts in this game. So, hey, Brad didn't even make it out of pools like the past few tournaments, and then top 3 at SCR. So who fucking knows, man?
yeah. It's a mystery. I mean, one other thing to think, I think should be brought up too, is that there's so many more tournaments this year that you're looking at a lot larger uh, pool of data, right? So it's not like, oh, there's only 15 premieres, or excuse me, 15 premieres and 15 ranking events or something to that effect. It's like 16 premieres and, oh, I don't know, 100 ranking events. And since those players, let's say the top 50 players are traveling so much, a lot of times I think we're getting, I don't know. I would like to track this data. I wish, and I know we're talking about Street Fighter Five, but I wish other games, fighting games, anyways, had this many events so we could correlate and see, is it a matter of parity because there's so many tournaments now that it's harder to stay at the top, or is it a matter of it's just Street Fighter Five? One thing to say though is that at least there's a ranking system with points. So the most consistent players, honestly, should be the players that win the ranking events. Because if you think about it, if you win a premier, it's a harder tournament, but it's just one tournament that you did well. For example, K Brad was very close to winning this tournament, and he instantly would have been Capcom Finals, which is an interesting point. Even though great, he won that great tournament, but is he really the top 32 players in the world? Probably not. So next year, if they do revamp it, I'd like to see them either cut down the number of premier events to maybe like 4 or 5, and then just run ranking events. Even if they reduce the number of ranking events, because I know a lot of players have been talking about how tiring this season has been. It's pretty much nonstop, weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend. There was a big tournament going on. So if they do decide to make some adjustments, if they really strengthen the ranking side of it, it would be interesting to see if we're looking at the same names come next year versus the names that we'll eventually get for the Capcom Pro Tour end this year. Speaking of which, guys, we're going to do a fantasy bracket as well. putting that together once we know what the top 32 is for Capcom Pro Tour. We'll post up a link so that way through Twitter or the Facebook group. So if you guys want to support, or not even support, just do the bracket, fill it out. We'll do a fantasy bracket for Capcom Pro Tour, and I'll try to get some type of prize compensation for the winner. But that should be fun. Take a look at who's solid, who's really looking to make moves going forward in this year, because it's a lot of money. Let's be real. The pot's getting big. Do you guys know if they've disclosed how much money it's going to be at the end of the year?
Mm,
Not sure. I thought it was another. I thought it was just like last year.
No,
you got
the
that
deal.
Sony money too now, right?
Yes, so they got that, but they also have money from the DLC. The Capcom Pro Tour deal, the CPT DLC, was a crowd fund basically for the prize pool, because they know that $150,000 prize pool today is because esports is so big, man. All these other games are getting $1 million here, $4 million here, $8 million here. So they gotta do what they can to get those numbers bolstered, and crowdfunding is a great way to do it. Not knocking it, but um, since there is so much money on the line, I can understand why people are splitting hairs, especially when you're talking about play at the highest level. You know, because Capcom doesn't want the game to go anywhere. Sony's putting money in it, so they don't want the game to go anywhere. So if this is the product that we're dealing with, you know, it can go a long way to the lifespan of the game as well as how people feel about the game if it correlates to, hey, if I get really good at this, it's not random. I actually can beat people based off the work that I've done or that I'm just good. So I think that all this talk is great right now, but I think next year is really like when we see what's going on. I mean, if Capcom Finals comes up next year and we have, let's say, 20 different people, I think it'll be very clear to say that either the changes from season 1 to 2 are real drastic, or let's say not a lot of things change, that the game really has a lot of parity. So if you're lucky, you know, you might be in that top that top 32, even though you were probably well removed from it the previous year. So interesting stuff to keep track of. One thing I thought was dope though about SCR is that they had a block party. So
But did they
they
really?
they did. They had a block party there at the event. It's at the esports arena, so that kind of livened things up because a lot of the SoCal locals, uh, from what I've seen on Twitter, basically they were kind of upset that the event was at Esports Arena and that Wednesday Night Fights there. So first world problems. They did not want to have a big weekly, basically, even with all the killers and everything that was going. So the block party, they had like setups outside. There was mad food trucks. They had two big screens outside, so you could also view matches while you were eating or just chilling outside.
That's mad godlike.
Yeah, yeah, it was really, really dope. I was like, man, Alex Valle saving the day, man, because he was catching a lot of flack for it at first, being at Esports Arena. But shout outs to him. He kept it all kind of under wraps, so a lot of people didn't know about it until SCR started.
And esports arena almost made me move to West Coast.
Really?
That shit was when I first saw that when I first saw that, I was just like, this is amazing. And then the owners talked about how, yeah, we want to put one on the East Coast too. I was like, please bring it here. That was amazing. I don't know who gave him flag. You want to know who gave him flag? People who didn't want to pay more than $5 a venue. That's who.
You're probably right about that, Eric.
And probably the melee players since they got cut out
Yeah.
Oh,
of the
that's
event.
true. Yes. Okay, so not everyone was happy. Sorry, I digress.
And probably Guilty Gear too.
Yeah, not everyone was happy with the choice, perhaps. But overall, from the people that were in the building or outside enjoying the block party, it seemed like a lot of fun. And it'd be dope to see tournaments try different venues or not venues, but different things like that in the future. So if not a block party, maybe you try to I don't know. I'd have to sit down and think about it. But the main thing I like, and I'm not trying to bring up, you know, local stuff, but the difference is that they still had the tournament at like a venue that's well adapted for esports, right? Esports arena. This is where the tournament's at. But we're going to bring the party here. We're going to bring the food trucks in. We're going to bring the screens. We're going to put some cabs outside. We'll make it super friendly. A lot of, bring in a lot of casual people to come watch. So it was great. It was a great blending of everything. So it'll be interesting to see other tournaments try to do the same. I mean, SCR is a big deal. So, of course, they have more resources to take care of that. But yeah, SCR was great. It's kind of sad knowing that that's probably what the last NA big tournament other than Canada Cup. But it's in NA, but it's not the USA. So good to watch a lot of Street Fighter. If you guys are interested in getting better, just watch any of Top 64. It was really amazing. All the matches were really, really good. A lot of things you can pick up if you are still trying to figure out aspects about your character or just ask questions, man. So take a look at all that stuff. So we also got some word this week. Possible SF5 arcade coming in. Interesting. This is a very interesting concept here because we were told there would be no arcade version of Street Fighter 5. Yet, what's the name of this event, Jason? Do you know?
I think it's just the Nezuka machines that they have.
Okay, okay.
Do you know how? Are you like familiar with how those work?
It's the card system, right? Like if you have a card thing, it can read it through anywhere in Japan or something. Is that correct? Or am I lying?
Kind of, but it's kind of like a was it a fightcade kind of thing where you can
Okay.
like because there's like machines in Japan where you can sit down and you can pick between like Third Strike, ST, and like Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, and all this other, like it's just a bunch of like, a cabinet that has like a bunch of games on it. So it seems like they're going to be updating those machines, and KOF 14, I think it was today, confirmed to be
Yes.
on the next one, and
Yes.
then probably SF5 soon. That's what the rumblings are.
Hmm. So, uh, that's great for Japan. Kind of sucks for us, but I mean that's where they're strongest at. Now that would be something that's real crazy since we're talking about the inconsistencies of the game. If Japan's gets an arcade release and they all start training crazy in the arcades again, does their scene get stronger, even stronger than it is? Because right now with all the parity, like Fumi's saying, I mean Daigo can lose in pools. Daigo can win tournaments,
Yeah, it is bonkers right now.
but if you remove that, excuse me, but if you add that aspect where they can train in their normal setting, it would be interesting to see if some of that's also removed from that. I think the problem, not trying to hop back to that topic, but some of the consistency thing is not one answer. I don't think just this will fix it. So just interesting to know that SF5 Arcade may be coming in hot. So props to them, man. Too bad unless you're planning to take a trip to Japan next year, you may not ever hear about it again.
Oh yeah, there's like another thing I want to talk about. This just came up today too. Is
Go ahead, bro.
apparently there's been like talk about extending Evo into 4 days instead of 3 days as well.
Hmm.
I just wanted to see what you guys thought about that. Because
Yeah.
fourth, you haven't been to Evo yet, right?
No, no, I haven't.
Okay.
Well, we went this year. We were in Vegas for 4 days, but one was a travel day, really. That Monday, or no, we got there. What day did we get there? Thursday, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the blow up day where we just couldn't eat.
Yeah.
Jesus. What
Everything,
happened?
everything closed.
We had to Uber to like an In-N-Out, like
Yeah.
5 minutes away, and it was we we wanted to get pizza, and pizza was like a 4-hour wait. It was a bunch of spaghetti
Pizza?
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, dog. She straight up was like flat voiced. It's going to be 4 hours on that pizza.
That is insane.
They're like, yeah, we only have one delivery driver, so it's gonna be 4 hours.
I don't know how I could have ever saw it. That I don't know how those words could have come out of my mouth. If I was her, it's gonna be 4 hours on that pizza. Like I would have had to take a mouth laxative in order to say that shit. It's so bad.
Yeah, it was no joke, bro. It was a little dicey on day one, but I don't know, man. Evo is already like a half week event as it is. And I mean, it's a set. The week's not even, so you got to go 4 instead of 3 for Evo, right? So if you make it an official 4-day event, you're almost blocking out the whole week at this point because
Yeah, pretty
people,
much.
if you run it from Thursday to Sunday, people are going to get in on Wednesday and not leave till Monday.
Oof.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you heard that? You guys heard that? That expression that Eric just gave us. Oof. That's my initial thought when I think of someone saying, "Let's make a 4-day event." The problem with Evo, or maybe not the problem, but the difference with Evo compared to other things, though, it's slowly trying to morph itself into a convention with the biggest tournament attached to it. Like it's
That's a
no,
good thing.
it is a good thing, but that would justify adding the extra day just to look at both sides of the argument. Now, if he does make it 4 days, though, I do require him to pick a better hotel. Not that that hotel sucked, but it's too far
That
from
shit
the strip.
sucked, man.
Oh, all right.
That
Well,
shit sucked.
shots fired. I respect it. I mean, for Vegas hotel, it did suck. If you think like the Bellagio and all that other nice shits out there, put it back on the strip, man. Let's get serious if we're going to do that because it was just too far. Like Jason said, man, we had to take an Uber to get food. That's not a good look. It's never a good look, man. Food should be readily available everywhere, you know? But I personally, oh man, it would be rough, because for a person like me, if you work and you want to go to many tournaments as you can, you're trying to be on your pro slash I want to be pro slash sponsored grind. You're working hard in the streets, but you're also working hard at your day job. You don't have off days to just go every weekend to tournaments like Justin Wong, for example, and he works too. But I'm sure he's got some hookup with his job just because they know, hey, I'm Justin Wong. I'm verified on Twitter, bitch. Let me do what I want. But for the average dude, let's say like me or Eric or you, Jason, yeah, and automatic said it too. Real life is a struggle, man. So if you think if I could split those days that I'm going to Evo for 2 other majors, right? All those days that I have to take off versus just one tournament to enjoy Evo. So it's like and it doesn't sound it maybe sound like I'm splitting hairs here, but it really does matter because remember I couldn't go to both ESL and TFC. I had to choose. So this is a real thing that happens. It's not just me trying to make conversation for the hell of it. And third floor did say the hotels change each year, so that's good to know. Hopefully they do pick one on the strip this time for 2017. And I do look forward to it. So I definitely want to attend, but 4 days may have to think about planning out my whole year then.
Yeah, you might as well ask for off that like right now.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah, it's a
be-
long time, man.
even before it's even announced, just ask off for like one random week.
Yeah, just one random week in July, I'm just cutting out.
I don't think I could do it, man. That was Evil was tiring as fuck, man.
Evo was draining, yeah.
Like by the end of Sunday, I didn't even want to fucking go out and party. I was so tired from walking and just living and playing and watching, drinking. I don't know. It'll be interesting to follow for the next few months. I just can't imagine it being like that. I mean, there's a lot of games to be featured, but I mean that's why you have like it's not like people from a lot of the scenes overlap as far as like viewership goes. So if they just have like one or two streams and they just pretty much show like KOF winter finals pools for like 2 hours, just like at SCR, no one's gonna like bat an eye or anything. So I don't know.
That was a
Rough
good point.
stuff.
Yeah, man. That was a very good point. Eric, I don't know. You haven't gone to Evo, but would that be something that would deter you as well if it was 3 to 4 days, or 3 or 4 days?
I mean, it's hard to ask for off for that amount of time, obviously, but it would definitely be something I'd have to plan for. Now, at the same time, I want Evo to be. I mean, this was the first year where it looked like it would be worth it for that amount of time. You remember that?
Mm,
Like the stage, the production value. If they can make it worth the while, then you know what? As somebody who's never gone, I'd still say that's something worth going to. But I think of it more like a Comic Con than a fighting game tournament. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's true.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
that is kind of true because they had like panels and stuff, but they had them at like weird times during like pools and shit, and it was like we had a choice of either going to the panel or eating food, and we were like, "Fuck it, we're just gonna go eat" because we're super hungry.
yeah. I mean, in 4 days, I guess would help to relieve that. So you wouldn't have to have pools running all day. You could run pools half the day, panels half the day, and then same thing for the second day. So I assume that's where it could grow. But it depends, man. If 5,000 people going to enter again, then I don't know. I don't know. That's so many people. I'm amazed that it all ran smoothly for the most part. It's incredible. That was crazy. Just the amount of people there just playing video games was crazy. But we'll see. Mr. Wizard hasn't said anything. It's not official. She's just gauging interest at this point to see if the move would. I mean, I guess he thinks it makes sense, but if it turns a lot of people off, I don't think he's going to try to do it. So we'll see, man.
Mm.
What are they missing? All they need is like some live concerts, and then we're right there. We're like the next Coachella, man.
Please no,
Yeah, that would be kind of weird.
we don't need FGC people with no clothes on running around without. Well, they already smell like Coachella people, but
Or Burning Man. They smell like Burning Man niggas, man. They smell like they're out there in that desert with that patchouli oil, whatever that shit's called. Disgusting.
Jesus. What?
Yeah, Jesus.
Patchouli oil?
Yeah, bro. It gets like that, man. You never seen Burning Man before, man?
I've never been to one.
I've never been to one either. Let me quickly say that. But a lot of hipsters, and like not cool hipsters, like hipsters, like the natural earth hipsters go to those things, man. So you can get weird.
natural earth
Hippies.
hipsters.
Yeah, natural earth, bro. Hippies, there you go. Hipsters, hippies. There you go. Okay, so that's kind of the main things going in the world abroad of Street Fighter 5 and fighting games this week. Let's talk Ultimate Street Fighter Season 3. Tomorrow is the Phase 2. Everything that we've been waiting for has been postponed a couple weeks, but it should be a good show. Our four contestants in order of seeds is going to be Kelvin M, aka Muscle Maldonado, aka Bad Brains, aka No Manners. He's your number one seed from the playoff that we had. Fuerte in VA, aka Forte, aka TGS Forte, aka VA Forte, aka Fortiva. He's number two. Gimpy, also known as Gimp Sama, also known as some KI player. He's your third seed. And Throwing Joseph, TJ, as they call him, the Throwing Tower of Yoga, is four. So Kelvin, Forte, Gimpy, Throjo will be playing in the double elim 4-man bracket. The matchups are seeded, so it's going to be Kelvin versus Throjo, Fuerte versus Gimpy. So those two matchups, I mean, Forte Gimpy, that was very close. The last time they played, which was at TFC Top 32. If you'd like to see the match, go on to YouTube and look at the greatest 757. That's my man Trey Star, Trey the Truth, his channel. He got it on shaky cam for you. But it was a very close match. Came down to the wire. Forte, how did you feel about the last time you guys squared up, man?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think I did well enough, but like, I don't know. I definitely have some ways to go to getting my groove back. I still think that today, you know what I mean? It's just uh I still don't think I'm as good at Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5 as I was at Street Fighter 4, you know? But I think I don't know, and I want to play Balrog too, so I don't know. I don't know what tomorrow's looking like. I'll be honest with you. I think I'm gonna do well. I just need to make sure that I got my practice game up. That's all.
Sounds very promising for tomorrow.
I can't hear anything. Kevin, are you coming in and out?
I don't know. Is Kevin dead? Is Kevin alive? Is the show canceled? Can you hear me, Fuerte?
I can hear you.
Maybe Kevin's dead. But yeah, it sounded like have you been like labbing up very much in preparation for this?
I have. I think I've been doing pretty well.
Oh, yeah, his mic is dead. Okay. So there's that match, and then there's Elvin and Trojo, right?
Yeah. I mean, Gimpy definitely last time, I had him by the ropes, but may not be the case again.
What was the score last time?
5-1.
5-1 Gimpy?
5-1 me.
Oh. So you think it'll be close this time, or you think Gimpy has finally like reached his stride this season?
Hmm. Gimpy definitely. I played him in casual since then. He's definitely got a lot better about the matchup. I mean, the last time I played him actually wasn't the last time. Ultimate Street Fighter. It was TFC, and he beat me 2-1 last round, last game. It was rough stuff. He just got me. and he was playing really clean. He definitely played a lot better than that last top Ultimate Street Fighter set. So I think it's gonna be close.
Yeah, sounds like it'll be a pretty good match. Really looking forward to that. Actually, both matches I'm looking forward to. So, what do you think about the other match between Kelvin and Joe?
Between Kelvin and Joe is having a hard time. I can tell you that much. It's not easy on him right now with that matchup. I don't know. Yeah, things aren't looking so good for him. I'll say that much. I think Calvin's got a good advantage coming into that.
Was it pretty bad? How was the score for when they played?
I'm pretty sure Calvin won like 5-2.
Ooh.
So it's not looking so great.
Man. But I'm pretty sure Joe's been cracking out as usual in his den.
Can you guys hear me?
Yay!
Hey, I'm on the app now. I don't know what the hell happened with my headphones. It just died and just like instantly said enough.
The crowns.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right, man. Throjo has been in the lab. He cracks out a lot in his spare time, man. TJ is a mystery, man. And I'm calling him TJ, and I don't know why. I guess everyone just calls him TJ now. But he really is kind of an embodiment of the yoga mysteries, man. He kind of does his own thing. You know, he comes out a couple times a week, but when I see him, he's got new tech, learning the matchups. We did play online recently, though, so he's never a slouch. I know he's beaten Kelvin. The last set they played, he lost. Kelvin hit that switch to Ken. He just has to overcome those demons. If he can overcome those kind of rush down, like no space to live characters like Ken, Rashid, if you can overcome those demons, I think Thojo is super, super, super scary. And I think any one of these four guys can win this whole thing, you know, looking at the last four seeds. I think it's going to come down to who's playing the cleanest over these next 2 weeks is what's going to happen. Not even necessarily who's the best, but just who's playing the cleanest, because I've seen them play really good stretches and stretches that weren't so clean. So very interesting to see what's going to happen over the next 4 days. Or excuse me, next 2 weeks. 4 days, Jesus. Next 2 weeks. Speaking of 4 days, though, so that's the matchups, you know, for Ultimate Street Fighter. Tune in, 7:30 p.m., twitch.tv/thatgamestore, or just come out to the new store. My goodness. The new store is amazing.
So hype. Can we get a section on that, please?
Yeah, we
Go,
can.
go ahead.
By all means,
By
plug
all
it
means,
out.
Eric.
The new store is back where my old karate dojo used to be many years ago. It's a huge space. There's 3 different rooms, and I say rooms, but that's really underselling it, man. They're like the square footage in this place is immense. It's just fantastic. I don't know what to say. The store is giant. The stage is great. We got a bunch of new tables built specifically for the setups. You know, it's really nice. The food nearby is godlike, man. Shout outs to Adamo's Pizzeria, man. New York style pizza. This place is great. I walked in and I saw 3 generations of short Italian men. And it was just grandfather Mario, dad Mario, and Luigi the kid. Fantastic.
Real quick on Adamos, you want to talk about some real ass New York Italians? You can cop that pepperoni slice for $3, man. $3 flat. They hit you up with that big slice. Just tell them you're from that game store. Get that cheap pizza. Zach ZB Villainous, he went with me today. He got a personal pan for $6, and then Gimpy got the largest calzone I've ever seen for $7.
You'd be eating
Damn,
like a king.
sounds pretty godlike.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's really sick, man. Everyone that's been to Xanadu has said it's bigger than Xanadu. So that's dope. Everyone loves the stage now. It's nice and prominent. The projector, how the stream setup is in the back. It's in the cut. And like Eric said, man, they've got that extra room that we're going to have, some kung fu movie nights. We'll have some Hearthstone gatherings, board games, be a lot of fun activities. Not only fighting game stuff that Ray and the nice people over at that game store want to run. So hopefully we'll be able to continue to get more and more new people to come in. I mean, that tournament, we had the grand opening tournament on Saturday. There was 4 new people I'd never seen there, man. Shout outs to MCC, Trey, Roach. I can't think what the other. I think it was Brandon D or something. Shout out to you guys, man, for coming out. I hope to see you guys again. Definitely, we're pretty well along. If you want to get better at Street Fighter, you come out and we'll get you where you need to go for real, as far as skill level and getting better. So good stuff on Ray and them for making the leap. I know it's scary in that type of business to be like, ooh, I got to pay for all this extra flooring and the profit margins. I don't know, maybe slim, because you got to think, man. Other than the community, it's not like a lot of people are going in there to buy retro games every day. So it's kind of a symbiotic relationship in that sense. But it's much needed. I don't think we would be as far along as we are as a scene in this game or MK or any game that we're doing well in if we didn't have that game store. So definitely dope. Come check it out.
Yeah, new source. Godlike. Everything is amazing about it.
Yeah, definitely if you're in the 757 area or even like Richmond or North Carolina, if you're not going there, you're fucking up. I haven't been able to go there. I probably won't be able to go there until next month, but I'm definitely pretty hyped considering it's down the street from me.
Eh?
But I ain't walking though. Yeah, I don't walk in the suburbs, man.
Nah, bro. The closest I said would be probably longboard, but not with the weather changing.
Hell
Maybe
no.
in the springtime.
But yeah. Is there anything else we should probably talk about or we missed?
I think that's a pretty good wrap up, man. I mean, SoCal Regionals was pretty much the main news. Oh, speaking of that game store, so we got Ultimate Street Fighter this weekend, this Tuesday, but Thursday is going to be a very special weekly. I think everyone, please come out or tune in. We're going to have Ludovic, No Surrenders Lud, will be coming down. He's bringing a team of people that he's been, kind of training with, such as OG Yan, quickly becoming one of Sova's favorite people, and a couple others that he's going to bring along. We're going to have a 4v4 exhibition against some of the members that were in the Ultimate Street Fighter. But I'm not trying to get the Phase 2 guys. I want the Phase 1 guys because we're trying to show that the program overall makes you a better player. So I've spoke to ZB Villainous. He's going to be a part of it. Philly's going to be a part of it. And I don't think Colin can come out, so we'll try to get a replacement for Colin. McBay. So I'm speaking of McBay. And Bix HD. I got to talk to Bix, see if Pappy Bix can bless us and be a part of our 4v4 exhibition just to, promote the scenes and integrate the scenes. But then we're going to have the weekly. They'll all be in the bracket, We'll take the weekly. I'm going to try to stop them. I know Fumi will try to if he's going to be there. I know Kelvin's going to try to kill Negroes. So it'll be a lot of fun. And everyone's favorite Hollywood Slim will also be in attendance that Thursday. So this Thursday's tournament is going to be very, very strong. Just so you get an idea of how strong this tournament is, we will have potentially 6 of the top 32 from the Fall Classic at this weekly. So come take a gander at same time, 7:30 p.m. on twitch.tv/thatgamestore it'll be starting. So everyone, definitely tune in this Thursday or pack the building. It's a big building, so come on out.
All
I think
right.
that's it though. I think that's all we gotta talk about. I think we gotta do some nonsense now, man. Or what's popping, Eric?
Fuerte 5. Who's ready?
I don't think
I'm
you.
ready for the Fuerte 5.
I don't think you gave anyone like a chance to even like get their bearings.
Nope. Diving right in.
Oh man. Go ahead.
All right, guys. So the Fuerte 5 today is one that's, I guess, near and dear to my heart. Top, I can't even say top. Let me just say 5. Five, my 5 favorite lifelike dice moments.
Are these like personal moments or just moments in general?
Just some moments, man. Just
All
some
right.
things that have happened that deserve to be called moments. Let's see here. I got a list and everything.
Wow, you're actually prepared this time.
Yeah.
You've
Get it
grown up.
popping, boy.
All right. I'm not even sure if it's going to be in any particular order today.
Like it's ever mattered before.
Count them down, anyways.
All right. So, first up, let's see here. Lifelike dice, a lot of people aren't really aware that that thing is tattooed on the birdie's stomach. And what it means, although it's pretty self explanatory, some people don't get it, is that, life, you should just live it like a roll of the dice, man. Whatever happens, happens. Keep on going. Which is also the correct way to play that character. It was a little hint by the developers, Shout outs to Combo Fiend. Anyway, the first lifelike dice moment is school meatloaf. Shout out to you, man. I don't know what's in there. No one does, but that's okay. School meatloaf, man. Don't know what it is. No one ever will know what it is. But
I was
shout out
so mind fucked when you said that because I really thought that was someone's handle.
school meatloaf.
Hey
A
man,
handle?
it could be a handle. I'm not even lying. I was really confused. I didn't think you would pick a food as a moment.
It's a moment, man. School meatloaf is no joke, man.
All right, whatever, man. Just go.
Look, bro, every time I ate that stuff, I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Why did you eat it? This shit's so ass.
It's horrible. It was either that or eat chicken patties every day.
Dog, that's what you have to do sometimes, man. You gotta saddle up with those chicken patties and that chocolate milk because that is life like dice trying to eat that meatloaf. That was
Yeah,
a real life
it
like
really
dice.
is life like dice. That meatloaf is oh. Shout outs, please. I don't know what they put into that. I feel like they just got it and put it in the microwave and shoved it in the tray. Nobody knows what's in there. No one will ever know. It's that pink goo, man. Next life like dice moment here. Let me tell you guys a story. This is a personal moment. There's a couple of these on this list, and this is one of them. So I used to go to this martial arts dojo when I was multiple times throughout my life, but this is while I was a teenager. I was about 16 years old, and they had a new instructor, and on his first day, he made us learn how to dodge roll like Solid Snake. I don't know what this has to do with martial arts, because it was basically jumping and leaping like over a Donkey Kong barrel and then landing headfirst into a dodge roll. Like, I don't know when this is going to be useful. I'm not in the battlefield. I'm just trying to learn some skills so I can kick someone's ass with my hands really quick and then, run away or whatever. And guess what happens? First day, not only is it over a barrel, oh no, he decides to make us jump over 3 people and a barrel. And I'm not a light person. Not even back then. I was not a light teenager. I weighed a solid 160 pounds at least. So guess what happens? I break my right collarbone, land on the ground, dodge rolling stops for the day, and I think forever. I remember distinctly. You see, now this is some life like dice shit. If I had like even half of a moment of hesitation, I could have stopped. But no, I wanted to roll those dice, and I paid for it. I got snake eyes, I got craps, and I ate the dirt, man. When I got up, I was like, man, my right shoulder is a lot closer to my head than it normally is. That's actually what I thought. It's because that bone was broken, and it was in fact closer to my head than it normally is. Went to the hospital, had to get surgery. Fuerte life like dice moment number 4.
God bless. Go ahead, man. Keep it rocking.
Life like dice moment number 3. I'm gonna need you guys' help for this one. Kevin, specifically, tell me about the 7K Houdini.
The 7K Houdini. Okay. So we have a mutual friend who really does embody the life like dice moniker. He's a heavily tattooed man. I'm surprised he doesn't have life like dice tattooed on his body, to be honest. He has almost everything else up there. So, one thing about gambling is that, as the song goes, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Particularly when you're playing poker or blackjack or other card games. So this mutual friend, the 7 time he went to, 7 being a lucky number, of course, he went to Dover Downs, Delaware, to play poker, win blackjack. This man goes up $7,000. So he goes there with $200, let's say, right? It's something mediocre, very small. You might flip it, maybe you come away with 500. No, this man is up $7,000, right? So let's think about this. Okay. Now everyone would say this in their head. Oh, I'm up 7,000. Let me cash out 6,500 and I'll go play with the 500, because I just made bank. I'm rolling in dough. And at the time, we were all working for very, very little money. Let's say lower than minimum wage. So the fact that you're up that much money, you're going to be like, I'm saving this because I'm banked out now and I'm about to ball out of control when I get home. However, the 7K Houdini lives up to the life like dice moniker because he's like, I'm going to take the 7K and I'm going to flip it to 50K. So he takes that money and he puts it back in. Now he's betting big. Now he's making $500 bets. You know what I'm saying? I'm at the blackjack table. I'm going hard. Fast forward a couple more hours. That man is now negative a couple $100. So the money that he went, he doesn't even have that. He lost a little bit of money, which can happen when you go gamble. But usually when you're up 7K, some of that goes home with you. But there you have it, the 7K Houdini. You make $7,000 disappear just like that. Life like dice moment number 3.
Man, that's crazy. I didn't know it was like that. I thought he just lost it over time. Not, hey, let me just go all in on another 7,000.
Oh no, that's okay. I'm gonna say his government name. His name is Michael Retrudy. If you ever meet this man in the wild, or maybe at a Yu-Gi-Oh like tournament, ask him about it. Ask him why he's playing the wrong cards right now, or the wrong card game, because It's not even life like dice. It's life like a moron. Because it's not even. Can we tell the story about when he dished our friend?
Okay, here's a amendment to the lifelike dice moment number 3. Okay, so again, gambling, lifelike dice. This 7K Houdini's, Mr. Retrudi's in there, gambling hard, losing that money, and he went up there with another mutual friend of ours, right? So think about it. We all live in Southern Virginia. They went to Dover Downs, Delaware. Okay, it's quite a drive. You can make it in one day, and or one night, and go gamble the day and come back. That's usually what they did. But what happened is that after the salt kicked in, the salt levels were at an all-time maximum. Think about how you would feel if you just pissed away 7K, right? You ever seen that scene in Dark Knight? I'm sure you all have, where the Joker burns all the money, you know? And everyone's like, "Why are you doing that?" That's how we all think.
Jesus.
Yeah. So you just burned away 7K, and you're ready to leave. Like, I need to go home now. But your man's is cooking. The guy that your road dog, he's cooking, he's making money, and your friends. So it's like, you know what? I'm going to just stay here. I'm gonna hold the L close to my chest, maybe drink it off, and we'll leave once he's done. But no, when you burn that 7K, you burn a part of your soul as well, apparently, because he left that man on the poker table and drove home. So my boy got stranded in Delaware.
What?
Wasn't it because he thought he could take him, and then our boy let him know that, like, no, I have this hand. Don't go all in. But he went all in anyways,
There it
and then
is.
he ended up losing. So imagine, like, if you were playing you and your friend, you decided to go to like a major or something, and you end up playing each other outside of pools, and then or you make it out of pools, and you're in the bracket, and you have to play against each other, and then he beats you. Well, let's just say he gets a double perfect on you. You get so salty from that double perfect that you just leave his ass. You drove. You drove all the way to this major, and you just leave his ass there.
Leave his ass at the venue without so much as a goodbye. Just be like, you call him and he just doesn't pick up. You call him again. Where are you? I'm home. Yeah, man. That salt is on some next level shit. And you're right. Again, gambling against your boy's best wishes. He tells you, don't go all in. I got this. Let's work the table. But no, man, the same fire that you burn, that makes you the 7K Houdini, you got to burn that fire. And it tells you life like dice. And you go all in and you lose.
Jesus,
You lose a
man.
hand and you lose a friend. Jesus. So, yeah, that's your amendment to life like dice number 3.
Praise
Ooh,
be to Ugly
crazy,
Mike.
man.
But yeah, go
Go
on.
ahead, Eric.
All right. Life like dice. Moment number 2. Almost had a car accident. Let's. I mean, it's pretty simple. I almost had a car accident. I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Was this very recent?
No, this was a while ago. It was in my first car. I've never had a car accident, although I can't say that anymore as of yesterday. So that's going to be life like dice moment number 1. Heads up.
Okay.
But life like dice moment number 2. All right. So there was a time when I think I looked away. I was coming up to that light. Nobody's gonna know what the hell I'm talking about except for you guys in Sova. It's on South Independence Farrell Parkway, Lynn Haven and Farrell Parkway. You know what I'm talking about? Right before you get on almost get to the Indian River Highway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's what happened. I didn't notice. I look up or I look to the right and I see this car in front of me. It's a white pickup truck. I'll never forget what happened. And I almost rear end him. I slam on the brakes. I know that even if I pull the e-brake, because my reactions are godlike, that I'm not going to be able to avoid crashing into this guy. But it was all the way over in the left turn lane. So here's what I did. I used to drive a really shitty SUV, Suzuki XL7. Car was butt. Now, here's here's what happened. I drive in between. There was a camera pole and there was the light pole. I drive in between them over the median. So I sharp left in an SUV. I didn't flip and I didn't rear end the guy. I just made the most diciest U-turn of my life. And that was it, man. I managed to get away unscathed.
Did you
Life like dice.
did you make that little sound that you make when you're they're like woo yee?
Yeah, it was
Oh
just like,
God.
oh, my heart was racing. I was like, holy shit. I don't know what just happened, but I just got away with murder.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you didn't get into any accident and you stayed accident free until moment number one. Why don't you get into it?
Moment number one. Don't play Hearthstone and drive.
Was this pretty recent?
This was yesterday.
Wow.
All right, so it's not life like dice until the very end, and then you'll see why. I was on the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, which is just horrible. The traffic is ass. So here's what I did. I thought that the best thing that I could do would be to, let's see here, drive and play Hearthstone in this traffic. Well, I rear-ended somebody. Start, stop, but it was it just barely bumped him, so it let me get away scot-free. And he just said, "Hey, you want to call it a day? Everything looks all right. We're all right in my car. How are you? I'm fine." And I was like, "Thanks, man." It's life like dice because immediately after we were ending this guy, getting out of my car, going through that bullshit on the highway, getting back on the highway before the bridge tunnel, started playing Hearthstone again. Life like dice, motherfuckers.
And I expect nothing less. Did I learn my lesson? I learned that I didn't gamble hard enough. Yeah.
That oh
Accident
well.
travesty. Got into an accident. Oh well. RNG Jesus just gave me that 3 costs 5-5. Yeah. Life like dice.
Life like
Can you,
dice, baby.
can you change your Hearthstone handle to life like dice, please? Oh man. That was great. Yeah, that's it, man. The glorious return of the Forte 5. That dude from Georgia and North Carolina. I hope you guys are happy, man.
Yeah, man.
Hope, hope you're
Happy to be
watching
here.
this every day or every Monday. Sorry.
Someone save this. Someone save this child, man. This unfortunate child known as. Oh my God. Welcome back. You late son of a
Happy
bitch.
to be here.
Yeah, welcome back. This is the first time in a long time we had an actual original podcast one trio, right? The three of us run the show.
Yeah, I think you can trace back the last time Fuerte was on. I think that was the beginning of the Overwatch beta.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's an easy timeline. Borg is
Yeah.
back in town. So yeah, glad that the Forte 5 is back, and we'll see who we get on for next week to join our panel. It was a little light, but there wasn't a lot to talk about, so it was all good. I know that some people want to talk about the stuff we always talk about, so we can talk about it next week, boys. Yeah.
Speaking of next week, what's coming up? Because Canada Cup isn't this weekend, right? It's next weekend.
Canada Cup is the weekend after. You are correct. So let's look at our handy dandy calendar of events. And this week, I believe there's something. Oh, yeah, in Malaysia, the last two ranking events are this weekend: FV Cup in Malaysia and the Asia Oceania second online event. So that actually has a lot to say on who qualifies through Asia. So you're going to see a lot of good players go there. I heard a rumor that K Brad may go to Malaysia because if he wins the Malaysia tournament, then he will automatically qualify from the global. Like he can overtake somebody, basically. So there's still some shakeups to happen. I'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it. So we may be talking about that depending on what happens. And then after that, you've got Canada Cup, and then just like we had the European qualifier that happened when Daigo won it, October 29th, we'll have the so Canada Cup is also happening the same time the Latin America finals are happening, and you may see some American players there. Wink, wink. And then Red Bull Battlegrounds, the NA regional finals will be November 4th or November 6th. Give your power to our friend Ludovic. I believe Led's going to that, right?
It should be.
Yeah, he should have enough points. I mean, he got third or EFC, so I'm hoping that was able to keep him in the running. But he should be attending that. The top 16 players that weren't qualified, battling out for that last spot. So I hope he is there, and we'll be rooting for him. And then the following weekend will be the Capcom Pro Tour Asia Regional Finals with Capcom Cup capping off the year, no pun intended, on December 3rd. And then it will be a long or short, hopefully, wait for the Season 2 Buffs and Nerves. And I think we should have a big blowout, what do we want to see changed episode.
I think we should just have
I
like
can't wait.
a party.
Is a party, yo?
Yeah,
A block party about Buffs and Nerves?
we'll do a party, and then for everyone's character, for every buff and nerf, you have to take a shot.
Yo, I like that. If it comes out during the holidays, then definitely we're going to do that. That sounds amazing. So, good stuff, man. Yeah, and we'll talk about maybe a year in review, our best and worst. We'll do some Capcom Pro Tour awards. I'll come up with some things that we can do some awards for, and try to keep the content fresh while there'll be no tournaments going on for about 3 months or so. But we'll see. Good stuff all around, as per usual.
Hey. So yeah, I guess that's it for this weekend. Like Kev said, look out for Ultimate Street Fighter tomorrow, and then the exhibition on Thursday / tournament on Thursday.
Yes.
So that'll be pretty hype. Any last words from you two?
Nah, man. I appreciate everyone continuing to watch the show, and just stay tuned for all the big plans that we got coming, man. Whether it's at that game store or more stuff with the Intruder Alert Live, it's all looking good going into the off season here.
All right, guess that's it for tonight. Everyone, take it easy. Thanks for tuning in.